Ukrainian armed forces positions in the village of Kazatskoe in the Kherson region were struck by FAB bombs equipped with UMPK. This is how the Russians destroyed the bridge over the river used by Ukrainian forces. There was also an ATV on the bridge. The ATV caught fire after the explosion. The MAAWLR Light Air Defense System, designed to counter UAVs, manufactured by the American company Sierra Nevada Corp. And in service with the Ukrainian Armed Forces, was destroyed as a result of an attack by a Sever FPV drone in the Kharkiv region. The footage shows Garin kamikaze drones striking trucks used by the Ukrainian armed forces in Zaporizhzhia. Russian armed forces soldiers continue to evacuate civilians en masse from Kostantinivka. Russian soldiers are successfully evacuating civilians despite enemy FPV drones. These people are mostly elderly and in need of assistance. The Russians are coordinating all their forces to evacuate the civilians. This is a difficult and dangerous task, but the soldiers are managing to pull it off. A Peony artillery unit destroyed a group of Ukrainian armed forces personnel in the Krasny Lyman area. The Ministry of Defense released footage of the 203mm self-propelled howitzer in action. Near Hulyapol, an enemy armored unit equipped with portable gas burners was destroyed by Buryat drone operators.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
Fiber optic FPV drone operator, demonstrating flawless piloting skills, breached the sarcophagus structure and destroyed a 330 kilovolt autotransformer at the Sumy substation. The estimated value of the destroyed transformer is at least 400 million rubles, excluding the enemy's costs of constructing the protective structure. The direct economic damage inflicted on the enemy as a result of the destruction of just 4 transformers located at key substations in the Sumy region amounts to at least 1.5 billion rubles. During an aerial reconnaissance mission, frontline units identified a temporary staging area set up for enemy heavy UAV operators. After the target was verified, the location was struck. The operator hit the target without striking any trees and destroyed the heavy UAV. In the village of Krasnopolye, in the Sumy region, a drone control unit belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces was destroyed as a result of an attack carried out by a special forces unit. Russian Garan kamikaze drones struck trains carrying supplies for the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kharkiv region. Warehouses and power lines were also damaged. The attack took place near the village of Lozova. Another enemy-attack drone was destroyed using a kinetic interception method with the Russian military's Yelka air defense drone.
Давай, родной. Сейчас идет. Давай, ну что, давай.
Kharkiv Oblast is located near the border with Belgorod Oblast. Ukrainian forces were launching heavy drones. Russian reconnaissance units detected them and calculated their coordinates. The Russian Air Force then destroyed all drone control points with FAB bombs. The Russian operator spotted an enemy infantryman working alone on the riverbank, and after a brief chase, the mission was completed. Drone footage of Kostiantynivka. Russian forces are advancing through the city. The remnants of enemy battalions are trapped in a fire trap between the southern and central parts of the city. The enemy's situation in Kostiantynivka is steadily deteriorating. An assault by a Russian Armed Forces infantry unit. The assault group cleared a Ukrainian Armed Forces position in the residential area. The Russian Armed Forces advanced 1.5 kilometers and took control of new positions in the center of Ry-Oleksandrivka. Footage shows a Russian soldier launching a TM-62 anti-tank mine at enemy positions. Night operations by the Russian Armed Forces mobile fire teams. Their arsenals include PKM and RPD machine guns, as well as Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft guns. One of the drones shot down at close range nearly fell on the snipers' heads.
Все живы? Ну аккуратнее, аккуратнее там. Машина не казенная. Оп. И надо подматываться отсюда побыстрее.
The enemy's reconnaissance drone was detected. I don't think they noticed the Russian FPV drone. What's done is done. Objective monitoring of airstrikes targeting the armed forces of Ukraine. An attack using FAB 3,000 bombs on a command center in the village of Preobrazhenka, Zaporizhia Oblast. During an aerial reconnaissance mission in the village of Lopan, an enemy UAV was detected approaching one of the buildings to land. Operators of Molnia type attack UAVs belonging to the Sever group carried out several precision strikes on the building where the enemy crew was located, destroying the Ukrainian Armed Forces UAV operators and all their equipment. A Ukrainian Armed Forces drone command center was destroyed near the border of the Belgorod region. At least 4 Ukrainian soldiers were operating out of a private home located 3 kilometers from the border. A Ukrainian drone control point was identified. The landing of a Mavic drone was monitored. Subsequently, an attack was launched on the control center, which was reduced to ashes. The operator was controlling a scrap-armored vehicle. Suddenly, the drone spotted enemy infantry behind the anti-drone nets. It circled around and captured one of the infantrymen. A reinforced bunker belonging to Ukrainian forces was identified. This was followed by a series of attacks by fiber optic drones carrying heavy munitions. The bunker collapsed. A few soldiers who survived the blast took cover in the forest, but the drone operators found them. Rubicon UAV operators are conducting remote strike operations in Ukraine's interior regions using FPV drones deployed from the main UAV. These FPV drones are equipped with analog cameras because they operate at extreme distances, and this is the only way to transmit the video feed. A Russian FPV drone operator narrowly missed a Ukrainian soldier's head at extremely close range. Incredible, one-of-a-kind footage. As a result of combat operations carried out by units affiliated with the North Military Group, the village of Korchakovka in the Sumy region has been brought under control. Moments of close-range combat between Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. Footage provided by Ukrainian forces. Footage captured by Russian forces. Ukrainian forces were defeated during this attack. A grenade fired by Russian forces scattered the Ukrainian assault unit. This allowed the Russians to gain the upper hand. Stay tuned for more footage.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
In some sectors of the Vovchansk front, the enemy is still attempting to cross the Volcha River. Intelligence has received information that the enemy intends to transport several combat groups to the opposite bank of the Volcha River, east of Vovchansk Hutory. Russian air forces have carried out precision strikes on the enemy's crossing points in this sector of the front, making it impossible for them to transport personnel, even using mobile vehicles. Northern forces continue to intercept supply convoys heading to Ukrainian armed forces positions in the Kharkiv region. The enemy is actively using robotic systems to supply its frontline units. Footage from objective surveillance shows FPV drone operators from the 1009th Motorized Rifle Battalion of the Sever Guards Division destroying an enemy ground drone in the Izbitsky area of the Kharkiv region. Interestingly, the enemy drone lost control and crashed along with its supply materials. The Russian drone operator, meanwhile, struck the rear section of the enemy's ground drone. Reconnaissance units from the Northern Task Force detected the movements of two Ukrainian soldiers from the Ukrainian Armed Forces 21st Mechanized Brigade. Upon seeing the FPV drone, they attempted to take cover in their foxholes. However, the enemy soldiers' attempt to flee did not save them from a direct FPV drone strike. A Russian FPV drone spotted a few enemy infantrymen hiding behind some trees while flying over the Ukrainian front lines and flew toward them. Sumy Oblast, city of Kharkiv, 17 kilometers from the Russian state border. During an aerial reconnaissance mission, enemy personnel and equipment transporting a UAV were detected. A Lancet strike was launched at the specified coordinates. A minibus and 2 Ukrainian armed forces pickup trucks were damaged, and the enemy personnel planning to launch the UAV into Russian territory were neutralized. Dobropilya direction. Soldiers from the 439th Motorized Infantry Regiment's UAV detachment shared a short video about their daily life on the front lines. They wrote to us, "We just returned from a mission and wanted to show you our amazing living conditions. But seriously, we don't always have water purification tablets, so cotton, bandages, and sand do the trick. We'd like to give special credit to the soldiers' creativity. Under these conditions, the choice is usually simple. Either find a solution or go without water."
Пить воду из-под крана. Не, мы об этом не слышали.
It was reported that 6 guided bombs were dropped on the dam near the village of Pechenegi in the Kharkiv region using drones, and that a second attack was carried out.